Unfortunately, another indie brand is closing. L'Oreal is out here buying all the brands that they can gobble up. And did Hourglass finally admit defeat on their unique eyeshadows? Hello and welcome to this week's new makeup releases, where we chat about the new makeup that's been released, announced, and sneak peek. I chat about whether or not I think these are a good idea, whether or not I want to pick them up, and then you let me know how you feel about them. I also touch on some industry news so that we can stay in the know about brands that are closing, acquisitions that are happening, and trends that are unfolding in front of our eyes. So if you're trying to stay in the know without spending way too much time finding these news on your own, this is the place to be. Every week I come back and I let you know about these things. This week we're doing it on a Saturday because it was 4th of July on Friday, and I thought a big part of my audience is American, so I thought, you know what, let's just give it like one day of resting, okay? I bet you were all out there eating hot dogs and watching fireworks. But before we get into the makeup news, I do have a sponsor on today's video, so let's roll that. I'm so excited to let you know that this video is sponsored by Factor. Factor is a fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meal service that delivers meals straight to your door. And I love Factor as a service, and I am so excited to have Factor in my fridge a week like this, because my husband is actually gone on a conference this week. And if you don't know anything about me, it is that I don't love going to the grocery store, and I don't love cooking by myself. I love cooking with my husband, when if he's not here, I'm not cooking for myself. So this is where Factor comes in to save the day. And if you're like me, you get super lazy and you don't want to do any cooking for yourself, Factor is perfect to have in your fridge. Saves you time, so convenient. Again, you don't have to go to the grocery store to get any of this. It is delivered straight to your door. You get tasty meals that are ready within just 2 minutes. You store it in the fridge, pop it into your microwave, and you're ready to eat. Because otherwise you might be like me and just having a lot of takeout, which is not good for my wallet and not good for my health. So I'm so excited that there are services like Factor out there. And since Factor is so flexible, you can choose how many meals you want to have each week. Maybe you're having a week like I'm having this week when you want to have some more meals so you don't end up doing a lot of takeout. Or maybe there's a week when there's a lot of other things going on and you want to have less meals. Factor also offers a lot of snack options like breakfast, smoothies, juices, and snacks. And I love, especially their like liquid drinks, their smoothies and their juices are so incredible. For me, they're like almost like a really nice in-between snack. In Sweden we call them mellanmål, and the drinks from Factor are a perfect in-between snack. I love having a juice or a smoothie for breakfast or in the afternoon when I just need a little pick-me-up and I don't want to have something that's too unhealthy for me. So I love adding those on my order as well. So go to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code 50Angelica to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That is code 50Angelica at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. And if nothing else, click the link down below and see their menu so you can see all the tasty meals that you can choose from each week and all the different snack options and drinks that they have to choose from. Like I said, these are delicious and convenient meals, and I love getting my Factor box so I can just fill the fridge with stuff that just really helps me out on my day-to-day. So thank you so much, Factor, for sponsoring another video on my channel. I am a big fan of Factor. This is also this month's member tutorial. Actually, I got a request about my favorite like Swedish candy, so I decided to take that opportunity and show you a different look for me, but something that you can try, just a new way of wearing neutrals. So I am in-depth describing and actually doing a video with as few cuts as possible, describing this look and how you can think of, like rethink neutrals a little bit. So if you're interested in that, you can always join my membership. That is a button next to the subscribe button down below. I'll also have my member live on Sunday before I am leaving on my vacation. That information is going to be in the community tab or in the post, I think it's called now. And if you are a member tier 2 or tier 3, you'll be able to see all the information about that. That's already live there in case you want to join in on the live, because I wanted to have one. It's been a crazy summer, but all the information about that, if you want to join in the membership, be an extra supporter of the channel, it's gonna be either in the button down below next to the subscribe button, or there is a membership tab as well if you go to my main channel. But enough about that. Let me scooch to the side so that we can jump in to some of the makeup news, because we have stuff to talk about. Ooh, also, actually, there will be a giveaway on today's video. I wanted to give away some mystery boxes with beauty and makeup again. That will be towards the end of the video, so stay until the end if you want to win some makeup. Can we start with talking about the Hourglass thing? Because I saw this one, and I swear there was a little giggle. These are the new quads by Hourglass. Do you remember when Hourglass was trying to release that, like, unique system where you bought single shadows that you popped into their like magnetic pans, and they were very, very expensive, and none of the colors were really that exciting? And I think most people agree that popping single shadows into pans like this is not something that the Hourglass customer maybe does. They're not the ones that are going to be out here picking their perfect like quad or 6 pan or whatever it was. They were super expensive, and the pans only worked in the Hourglass quads. So it just ended up being, I'm gonna be honest, kind of a silly system. It was really expensive. And I think most people that tried them were like, well, this is fine, but not worth the hassle, not worth the price tag. So Hourglass is now doing these quads instead, and I think this is much smarter. Pre-made quads for the Hourglass customer is much, much smarter. To me, all of these look pretty much the same, but that only tells you, I mean, I am wearing a neutral look today, but that only tells you that these are for, again, the Hourglass customer. So this says that it is quad palettes refillable with velvety and blendable textures. These are coming soon, 6 different colorways. When it says refillable, I'm wondering if they're going to be able to like buy shades and refill, because I do think now that looking at them, some of them do seem to have like the same shade in them, and they're just selling them in different like compositions. Honestly, I think that's much smarter than people buying and making their own palettes. That was so expensive, and I don't think the Hourglass customer was interested in that, in the whole idea of making your own perfect like palette at that price range. And with quality, where you could get much better and bigger palettes for the same or even less of a price tag, I just think that they were barking up the wrong tree altogether with that concept. And I think this is probably much smarter. Is this for me? No. I don't need something like this. I will say, if it was an all matte quad, I could have been interested if I didn't have that all matte mini palette by Natasha Denona, because I love having something like that. But this isn't for me, but at least with this release, I understand who it is for. How much is this gonna be? Ooh, this is gonna be an arm and a leg, the blood of a virgin, and your firstborn child. I can promise you that, because Hourglass is not an affordable brand. But also, again, for the Hourglass customer, if you're already buying Hourglass, you're not gonna get an eye twitch seeing this price tag. I also giggled a little bit when I saw this one, because this is exclusively at Ulta Beauty. This is the Tarte Maneater After Dark Volume 2 eyeshadow palette. And it says that it's $55, which for this big of a palette from Tarte, who is a mid-range brand, honestly, not that awful for, again, a brand that is at a brick and mortar. It has this many shades in there. I think this is 24 shades, 55. It's expensive. I wouldn't buy this, but I do understand, again, it is in brick and mortar, so the margins are a little bit slimmer. But what I giggled at is that they are describing this as 24 new shades. Listen, Tarte is out here gaslighting all of us. There is no universe where any of these shades have not been seen in, let's be honest, any palette from Tarte ever. I am sure that these are like new shades, but also there is nothing new about any of these shades. It is just beiges, mauves, and browns, and with a pop of like raspberry berries. This is the color scheme that Tarte does every other palette. Every other palette is this, and every other palette is like a golden brown palette. And to call this 24 new shades, it's like, I get it. You're not putting in repeat shades, but also like, this is literally the color story of Tarte. If you have a couple of palettes from Tarte, you can make this look. Whatever this palette can make, like, it's one of those memes. We got this at home. This one I actually got in PR, and this is from Colourpop, and they just launched some new lip care products. I feel like when Colourpop has done these before, I cannot, on top of my head, think of a single time that they have done lip mask and lip scrub outside of a themed collection or a collab. I'm still using the one from Winnie the Pooh, which is kind of old, so I probably should get rid of that one, but I really like that one. That one has honey. But this is the Fresh Kiss Lip Mask, the Fresh Kiss Lip Scrub. The lip mask comes in 6 cents, the lip scrub comes in 3 cents, $10 each, and then they have a set where you can get the mask and the balm in the 3 cents that has the scrub and the balm same. I will say I have smelled these and they smell delightful. Especially the one that is the lip mask in pistachio gelato. It smells so good, so good. I am so impressed with that one. It smells really delightful. Also, the strawberry milk one smells very, very delicious. So definitely if you were looking for some like lip care, I mean, these are $10 each. It's a fairly affordable one. But when I saw this, I was like, I guess Colourpop hasn't done anything like this before outside of a collab, which is interesting. You can use my code Angeshka over at Colourpop and you'll get 10% off your order if you're ordering from Colourpop. I haven't tried it out yet, but I will travel with the gelato one and I'll let you know if it's good or not. I actually bought this one. Okay, hear me out. This is new also from Tarte, and these are the eye pencils that they have had from before. I have this here in front of me actually. These eye pencils, they have like little stars on them. They're officially called Fake Awake, and it has like a little smudgy tip on the end. And I think they've only had this in 3 or 4 colors. So they've had a white, they've had a beige or like a peachy beige, and I think they've had a black and maybe a brown. I know there's been at least a black as well. This is one of the creamiest, most pigmented colors that really, on me, they last all day. I think they're absolutely amazing. There is a reason why I have the 2 lighter colors, and I've actually gone through one of the beige ones and I bought a second one. So do with that information as you will. They have released 6 new colors. It says like a black and a brown, but I feel like they've had a black and a brown from before, or maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe this is when they launched the black and brown. I'm not sure about that. Black, brown, and then the one that I bought, which is the cobalt blue without shimmer. I did also have the green and the burgundy in my basket, but I think both of those have shimmer, and I don't want shimmer in my eye pencils. And then there's one that's called Opal, which I think is a pearlescent, like pinky shimmery one, which again, that's not something I want. But if that blue is the same formula as that one, oh, we're in business, baby. I'm very, very excited to be trying that out. I wanted to film like a full face of trying new makeup, but I don't think that I'll have time before I leave. But we'll try out some new makeup when I come back for sure, because I am leaving for vacation and I will be gone for a bit, but I will have my normal videos up. Per usual, there will be videos, but my new makeup releases is taking a little bit of a break while I am soaking up the sun with my husband celebrating our 5 years of marriage. But I'll come back with a really juicy episode once I'm back, and I will be filming a full face of makeup, and I cannot wait to see if that blue one is going to be the same creamy formula, because I love that formula. They also released corresponding colors in mascara, and this is I think this is a formula that they have, the Tartelette Tubing Mascara, and if I'm not mistaken, I think my friend Samantha loves this mascara, and they released it in a blue, a green, they call it magenta, so it's almost like a berry purple, and then a navy, so like a bright blue and then a dark blue. I wonder if this is the formula that Samantha loves. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that they did release that as well. And I have no idea if that mascara is good or not, but I have a sneaking suspicion that that was the one that Samantha liked. With that being said, me and Samantha have very different tastes when it comes to mascaras. She loves the Rare Beauty one, and for me, Rare Beauty is like a meh mascara, because I want something that's lengthening and curling, and she wants something more voluminizing. Makeup by Mario is releasing a Master Mattes Long Wearing Cream eyeshadow, and when everybody else is releasing eyeshadow crayons, Makeup by Mario is releasing a liquid shadow with a doe foot. I think this is really interesting. This is not something that I'm going to be purchasing myself, because again, I don't need something like this in my life. Eyeshadow crayons make a little bit more sense for me, especially if they're one without shimmer, because I use them as eyeshadow bases and they work especially when traveling. I'm going to bring a couple now that I'm traveling. but I don't like the ones with shimmer. And I feel like this liquidy one, I really don't think it's gonna be the one for me. Also, all of them are just very, very neutral, and then like 2 grays. Or is it a black and a gray? I'm not sure if it's a black or if it's 2 grays, one light, one dark. So one is definitely like it's called slate. And then, yeah, black. One is called black. Okay, this isn't for me. Nothing wrong with it, but just I know myself and I don't need something like this in my life. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Is this something that you feel like you would be easy for you to do on an every like day-to-day basis, or do you prefer a crayon? I also wonder if this is going to be, I feel like we've seen a couple, and I'm wondering if we're going to see even more pressed powders, because I have 2 pressed powders to talk about now. And I feel like last year was like the year of like loose powders, and now we're seeing some pressed powders. So this is the Fenty Bright Fix Instant Brightening and Setting Powder. It comes in 6 different shades, and there is one that's called Banana. Brightens light to medium deep skin tones. And I feel, because I am a light to medium, and I have a more golden undertone, so for me, I prefer something that's a little bit more golden. But they do have a lavender, a rose quartz, a peach, and then they have 2 deeper tones as well, cinnamon and pumpkin. And I feel like this could be something, because I love a good pressed powder. I really do. We also have a pressed powder from Saie, and this is the Slip Tint Undetectable Baked Setting Powder. I usually, when it comes to pressed powders, I actually usually don't prefer a baked formula. That's just, again, a personal preference, but you're gonna have to let me know. These have 5 different shades, translucent 1 to 5, says it's coming soon. Let me know if this is something for you. This one says $32. How much is the Fenty one? $38. Mid-range brands, I'm not super surprised about this pricing. I think the one from Fenty, also because I tend to really agree with a lot of Fenty's like skin products, a lot of them end up being total favorites for me, so I feel like I want to try the one from Fenty. Let me know if you're more interested in the Saie one. I also wanted to let you know, we talked about this a while ago, but I did want to let you know, Versed, which used to have skincare, they launched makeup a while ago, but now they are available at Ulta as well. So they've been at Target for a bit, and now they've launched at Ulta as well. I have not seen that many people talking about this line. I did check out this line. They do have a bunch of different things. They have concealers, skin tint, primers, blush stick, illuminating stick, bronzer, mascara, a bunch of different things. So I checked this out, but there was nothing that was really speaking to me. And I also felt like all of the colorways in like the blushes and the lipsticks was just very generic to me. And I feel a lot, but I have a feeling that since so many brands are launching nowadays, you kind of really have to be either very unique or already have a super big presence. And I'm not sure if Versed is as loved so that they can release generic colors in makeup. I don't know about that. You're gonna have to let me know about that. Or you have to be really having a great marketing campaign. And I feel like this whole release went a little bit under the radar. I don't know. Have you heard a lot about this? Also, I got a mosquito bite on my hand, and it's not loving that. Speaking of brands that I feel came off with like a boom, was Godmode Beauty. I did a reel where I was trying out Godmode Beauty, and I tried the highlighter, I tried the lip liner, I tried the lip gloss, and I loved all of it, and I thought it looked amazing. And I have seen them show and share different people of different skin tones using the highlighter, and it looks good on everyone. And now they've also released an eye collection. So this is dual-ended eyeliners with 1 matte liner and 1 shimmery liner, and then 3 different compacts that are quads with eyeshadow. And these honestly seem really intriguing. So I think for me, I think I'm gonna pick up one of these as well. And when I get back from vacation, we can sit down and maybe we can do a video, because this Godmode is a makeup brand. It is by 2 not artists, but it is Chloe Moretz, which is an actress, and then what was the other one? I'm not familiar with the other person. Chloe Moretz and Rina Savayama. I think she is an artist. And when I mentioned Godmode Beauty, so many people were saying that they absolutely loved her and absolutely loved her style. I'm not familiar with her myself, but she seems to be very, very loved in the community. Both of these girls are gamers, so they made a makeup brand inspired by just gaming as a concept. I love the name Godmode. If you're a gamer, you definitely know what Godmode means. And I was very impressed with the products, and I kind of almost want to do a get ready with me talking about gaming. Maybe a Q&A, maybe the future of gaming, maybe what I'm playing now, maybe what I'm looking forward to, maybe I don't know. Give me some thoughts, because I will say I was very impressed with the 3 products that I've tried, and I definitely want to try the other ones as well. I will leave a link to it down below. I think I'm going to get the quad that has the green iridescent shadow, and then one of the eyeliners was a iridescent duochrome topper and like a burgundy red without shimmer, and those look amazing. So I think that's what I'm gonna pick up. Let me know what you think about this launch, and if you're interested in seeing more, because I feel like this brand has potential. The packaging was stunning, the quality was beautiful, and I love the imagery behind it and the message behind it. And I have not been this excited about like a celebrity brand in a hot minute. Oh, we need to talk about Odas Eye as well. Odas Eye did reveal and launch their summer collection. This is the Alva eyeshadow palettes. I'll show you some quick swatches of them. It is summer, autumn, winter, and spring. 4 different palettes for 4 different seasons. Someone said that the color scheme was very corresponding to the color season when people are talking about, like, you know, what colors suit you versus not. I don't listen to stuff like that, because I dress the way that makes me happy. I wear the makeup that makes me happy. I never do my makeup to look good. I never do my makeup like, oh, this is the most flattering for me, or it doesn't mean that I'm not aware. Like, I'm fully aware that a makeup look like this is conventionally flattering on me. I am fully aware, but that doesn't mean that I always want to wear something like that. But someone was telling me that apparently the color stories were corresponding to that. These are available now. You can use my discount code Angelica and you'll get 10% off when you're ordering at Odas Eye. They also released 6 lipsticks, like liquid lipsticks, a very moussey quality. If you tried my collab with Odas Eye, you know what kind of quality are. Same kind of quality. And they also released 6 glosses. I'm actually wearing one of them today. This is Little Jasmine 3. This is the gloss that I am having on. I think it's a really beautiful gloss. I did some swatches. I'm hopefully showing you something here. Overall, I think this entire collection is really fun. It's a really interesting time to release a big collection like this during summer, because a lot of brands usually don't, because summer is a little bit more of a lull time. But that also means that I had more time to really dive into this collection. I did 1 look with each palette. I did some lip swatches of all of these. So if you want to see more about this collection, if you're interested in diving in more, I will leave a link to that video down below, because I was able to make a full eye look, both eyes, with each of these palettes. So I actually had 9 eyeshadow tutorials on my channel last week. So I don't want to hear anyone say that I don't do any tutorials anymore, okay? Because I had 9 last week. But overall, I think this collection is really fun. My favorite is still spring, and I actually did film another look with spring for a reel. I really enjoyed it. I did a bright pink look, absolutely beautiful. But yeah, just wanted to talk about this collection real quickly. But if you missed that video, I will link it down below. Definitely recommend it. Y'all, I'm so upset that this new collection by Rhode Beauty, which has a yellow case. You know, I love yellow. Yellow is probably, yellow and orange are my 2 favorite colors when it comes to makeup, clothing, home decor. It is my favorite color that spans over everything. And this phone case, listen, I would be out here, okay, doing free commercial for Rhode in this yellow case if it wasn't lemon. Why isn't it banana? Why is this not banana? Why is it lemon? They're also releasing 2 new pocket blushes. These are supposed to be blushes are supposed to make you look like a little, you know, a little sun-kissed, get that little sunburn kind of a look on the cheeks. I thought this formula was okay, but it was a little bit too dewy for my personal liking. But dang, if this hadn't been lemon-teeny, if this would have been banana, I would have, listen, I would have set my alarm. I would have been on the website, because I love a good banana. Don't demonetize me. The fruit. Get your brain out of the gutter. Ooh, this one I have in front of me. This one, I forgot to talk about this last week, but this is the Cobra palette by Klarity Cosmetics. This one has already released, and this is a green eyeshadow palette. I do actually have some swatches of this one, and you can get 10% off with my code Angeshka. I feel like this is a newly updated version of the, what was it, Smoke Sessions by Melt. It is a very dark palette, and if you're the kind of person that like, you love greens and you think that sometimes palettes have too many light shades, this one is predominantly a darker palette. I have done swatches of this palette, but I haven't had time to use it yet. But I will say Klarity has, according to me, like the ones that I have tried, I like working with their formula. I think it looks really beautiful on the eyes. I've only worked with 2 palettes though, so this is the 3rd palette that I'm like swatching myself, but I'm excited to do something. I don't know if I'm gonna do a look for Instagram. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do maybe like in a get ready with me. I don't think right now I'm gonna do any more of those, don't shoot me, but I don't think right now I'm gonna do any more of those several indie palettes, several looks, because they're just so much work, and unfortunately they are just not the kind of content that are getting a lot of views. Tutorials, I love filming tutorials, but unfortunately the majority of people online, they're just not looking for stuff like that from me. From others, I'm sure, but not from me. So maybe get ready with me, maybe something, maybe shorts, I don't know. But I don't think I can devote days to filming and editing a video that just isn't super popular with my audience. So I don't think I'm gonna be filming that, but I will say swatching this palette, I was very impressed with how it swatched. I thought it was beautiful. And they have also, listen, is this how behind I am with this one? Because I thought, again, like I said, I thought it was a little bit slower and I had time with the Odas Eye, but maybe I'm actually like, maybe a little bit behind, because they also did release a Glam and Go eyeshadow palette. It's surprise launch of Glam and Go, and this is, we have seen this kind of a color story from other brands. It was very popular especially during winter time and like Valentine's time. We saw a lot of like gray, black, red, purple palettes. We had a bunch of those palettes going around, and it seems like Klarity is throwing their hat in the ring as well. This one has, I really like the top row. Again, I love when there's contrast, and I love the top row with the lavender shimmer and that like light, almost like pinky lavender matte. That looks really interesting, and I like that the dark purple almost is like a blurple, you know, like a blue purple, and there are 2 matte red shadows in here, and it seems to be some really like high intensity shimmers as well. I don't know if I'm getting this one in PR. I'm personally not going to pick it up, but I do think the contrast in here, you know what's most appealing about this palette? First of all, packaging is beautiful, but how this is laid out. There is something about how this palette is laid out that's just very appetizing. It looks scrumptious and yummy, and whoever laid this palette out made a great job, because I think it looks beautiful. And this even has a little bit more of that, like, not everything is a gradient, but I still think it makes so much sense, and I think it looks beautiful. Like the layout of this palette and the packaging and the mirror and everything. The packaging is stunning, quite honestly. That is real great work on that one. Again, I think you can use my code on that one and get some money off as well, in case you are interested. Okay, let's talk about the new lip formula from Too Faced. This is the Cloud Crush Whipped Lip and Cheek Color. Oh, it's a cheek color too? Wait, and there is like a muted, like orangey peach. It's called Peach Blur. But when you see, like when you look at the swatches here, it does lean a little bit more on the orangey peach side than the pinky peach side. I think the Milk and Cookies look really good too. So a lip and cheek. You know what? I'm going to try this. I am going to try this one. I don't know if it's going to be the peachy one or if I'm going to do something else, but I'm gonna try this formula out, because a matte blurring whipped lip and cheek color blurs texture, soft focus flush that blends perfectly with a cloud-like kiss of color that lasts all day and smells as dreamy as it looks. Yeah, I'm gonna be trying this one. It's in the UK right now, coming soon to the US. I'll try it out. I'll let you know if it's as good as the ABH one. We've also seen 2 new palettes. Well, actually 4 new palettes, but it's 2 new palettes from Sydney Grace. This is the Desert Bloom palette. It comes in a light and a deep, depending on your skin tone. So they literally swatch out some of the lighter colors, I think, to be like a transition color for different skin tones. And then there is one, that's the more warm tone neutral palette. And then there is one that's called Cozy Cafe. Same there, a lighter one and a darker one. And this is more of a cool toned neutral palette. I applaud Sydney Grace for staying true to their brand. They have always been an indie brand that do more traditional formulas. They haven't really dove in that much into like super textured or they've done some multichrome like singles, but they've never really had that kind of a thing in their palettes. Their palettes are usually more classic, mattes, satins, metallic, shimmers, not a lot of flaky, multi-chrome, topper, sparkly. That's not really what they do. And they usually do very neutral palettes. And I have to say, even though that's not I do love classic formulas though. Even though I do think that some of their metallics are a little bit too thick for my aging eyelids, I do love a more classic formula because I do think sometimes that there are way too many special shades in palettes. It ends up being too cumbersome and too expensive. But with that being said, you know, regardless of what I'm wearing today, I'm not a person who gets overly excited about a neutral palette that doesn't have like a twist to it. I need a little bit more of a twist than what this is offering, but I love that there is something for everyone in this community. I love that there is an indie brand out there that just mainly focuses on neutral products. So if you have been wanting to try, now I've seen a little bit more of neutral things coming from the indie community, but if you're like, all of these indie things just seem too cumbersome, too much, too all over the place, too colorful, definitely check out Sydney Grace. They usually are a little bit more on the, I don't want to say safe side because I think that's not the word I'm looking for, but they're a little bit more on the classic side when it comes to formulas, and they're a little bit more neutral when it comes to color stories. I saw this and I was like, what year is this? This is from P.Louise. Again, do you remember? I think this is the 3rd week in a row we were talking about P.Louise, and they, again, the budget, I feel like Lindsay Lohan, the limit does not exist. Now they are releasing lipstick palettes. What year is this? Lipstick palettes? Again, sometimes I see stuff like this from brands, not just P.Louise, and they're releasing stuff that is rarely used by someone outside of a makeup artist environment, and they're still selling to the regular consumers. I'm using very like regular is like, you know what I mean when I say that word, but like consumers, they're doing the heavy lifting in that sentence. I don't know a lot of people that would love or would need a lipstick palette. If you are a working makeup artist, a lipstick palette is almost a must. You don't want to be carrying around 2,000 different lipstick things and you're looking for the right one. You want a palette, all and done. You're using a little spatula, you're blending on a palette on the side, putting color on. If you need to reapply, that's all fine and dandy. But no one is chugging around a lipstick palette in their purse, taking that out, trying to reapply in the public bathroom. Ain't nobody got time for that. So I am like, who is this for? It's called Butter Me Up. $25 each is fairly affordable, 4 different colorways. But again, I'm so confused who we are selling this to. Because I'm telling you right now, even if you love P.Louise, unless you are a working makeup artist, I cannot be more clear in my messaging. Put this down. You do not need this. Nabla has released a summer collection, and this is the Angel Goth edition. 3 new lip candy oil flavors and a quad that is a little bit more of like a silvery gray. And then there are, these look so good, Angel Aura Bronze, golden hour glow your skin's been waiting for. That looks really intriguing. This is really intriguing. I will say, those candy oils, probably one of the top 3 best smelling lip oils in the game. absolutely delicious. And now they're releasing salted coconut, watermelon, and black cherry, and all three of those sound amazing. I'm just saying, if you are looking for a lip oil and this is a nice lip oil. It's not thick enough to be a favorite for me, but I love it. I think I feel like I have one here. I've had one here in front of me that I've been using. I wonder where I put it. But if you are like, I want something that's thin and just looks like oil and that is hydrating, but you're looking for something that smells incredible, these from Nabla, top of the line. The scent is just so good. So I'm wondering what these are going to be. I mean, honestly, salted coconut does not sound like something you want to put in your beach bag. I'm so confused by this new line by Dior. So this is fall 2025 Miss Dior collection. I mean, this has probably been in the works for a really long time, but if you didn't know, Dior did a collection. I wonder if this is the collection maybe for fall. Probably. And let me show you like just a picture or two. I think everyone was kind of agreeing that this was not it. Like, this was not a good collection. It was basically just expensive clothes. We're talking like a $3,000 coat, if even that. Like, it's like a $2,000 skirt that just says Miss Dior. And it's just like, it's like ugly logos to a new level. And they're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're also gonna put that on makeup. So they are doing this celebration of today's women. Passionate, independent, and liberated. And apparently absolutely free of any kind of taste, because this is ugly. Just says Miss Dior, bright, just like as ugly as on the clothes, on the different components. And I just can't help to think this wasn't pretty on the catwalk. It's not going to be pretty when it's in store. And I don't think it's prettier when it's on makeup. It's all just one big mystery. And if anyone is wondering why J.W. Anderson is now in charge of Dior, I'm gonna guess this has something to do with it. We've also seen a new fragrance by Byredo. This is the Rodeo fragrance. And you know, I'm living my best cowgirl life over here. I did a video this week where I talked about like my bucket list for things I want to do before me and my husband move from the US. If you want to have a chat and get ready with me where I talk about my time in the US, that video is already live. So I was like, oh, maybe I want to like a cowgirl perfume. That's not what this is. This is going to be like smelling a saddle. Because this one has woody leather, black leather, tobacco leaves, black tea, violet, and vetiver Haiti and salted amber. This is going to be smelling like a saddle, which again is, I guess it's the smell of a cowboy, but I'm just saying I'm going to smell this in store, but just based on this with the violet, and this is going to smell like a saddle, which totally fine. There's also a new fragrance from Jo Malone, and this is Raspberry Ripple Cologne. I will say I'm excited to see something from Jo Malone that is not super flowery for once. Although I will say, I personally don't want to smell like raspberry ice cream. So this is a scrumptious Raspberry Ripple ice cream. I do love a raspberry scent, and red currants sound absolutely amazing. But then it says it's going to be like an ice cream. So I'm just like, I love that it's like raspberry, black currant, red currant. But then powdery and clean. And that's where I'm like, I want something that's tart and fresh and fruity. So I don't think this is going to be for me, but sometimes the descriptions are a little bit off. So again, I'm definitely going to be smelling this one in store. I do love Jo Malone. I think they make amazing scents, but they have been on a floral kick for a couple of years. So I actually haven't bought a fragrance from them in quite the hot minute. Let's talk about the brand that L'Oreal bought. And L'Oreal actually bought ColorWow. I love ColorWow. ColorWow is a brand that quite honestly rose to fame due to instant results. Not like instant results, but a lot of their products, you can see instant results. In my repertoire, I am using, what is it called? The one that's the Dream Coat. It's such a good product. Follow the instructions, amazing product. I also have their 1 minute hair mask, anti-frizz hair mask. That's amazing. And I have a mini of that I travel with, which Cannot recommend that product enough. It's also such a nice product. And according to this article in the Beauty Independent, they are estimating this deal to also be a $1 billion deal. And I'm bringing this up because, again, I feel like everybody was being so up in arms about this supposed Rhode $1 billion deal, but it's not as unique as we might think. I'm excited to see what this is going to mean for ColorWow because, again, I think that this brand makes amazing products if you want to see quick results for your hair. Now, let's also quickly talk about the fact that Bright Lashes, which is the lash brand, an indie lash brand owned by YouTuber creator Angela Bright, is closing down. She did do a video where she was talking about the reasons why she's closing it down, and she was basically talking about she didn't really want to be a small brand owner anymore, and also like the making like false lashes wasn't really like as much as a passion for the beauty community anymore. I will say though, I do think that that is going to turn around because, again, the pendulum always shifts. But I feel like most of all what I got from the video, I feel like in a way Angela has been going through a lot of changes in her life, and I feel like she's just ready to start a new chapter, to close a couple of old chapters and to start a new one. So if you love Bright Lashes, I don't know if they have any styles left, but she said she was gonna have a big sale on the website until she sells out. And she has quite a few styles that I really, really did enjoy. So I'm sorry to see Bright Lashes go. And I think a lot of people are really sorry to see them go because they were making some really, really interesting half lashes. And again, I think that there definitely is space for more false lashes in this industry because I feel like we are probably in a year or two gonna head in even more into a more visible makeup again. I feel like even now we've seen more visible makeup, but not in the way as it was in 2016. But like everything evolves and is different, but I think we're more into visible makeup now than we were in 2021, let's say. So if you were interested in some Bright Lashes, I will leave a link to it down below. And of course, I've met Angela Bright several times. She is an amazing, incredible, kind, funny, and beautiful person, and I wish her all the luck with all the things that she's deciding to do for the future, because quite honestly, she deserves all the good things to happen to her. Okay, I am gonna go back to the middle, and I wanna quickly talk a little bit about the giveaway that we're gonna have. I have accumulated quite a lot of extra PR here. So what I'm gonna do, and I've done this before, I am gonna have a Google form in the pinned comment down below where you will be able to sign up. Just leave your address, and all you have to do is be subscribed to my channel and leave a comment down below, fill out the questionnaire, and 2 people are gonna win a random giveaway box with just makeup, beauty products, tools, all of those fun things. It's just gonna be a big fun mystery box filled with beauty products. I am gonna have this giveaway open during the time that I'm on my vacation with my husband. Like I said, we're going to Hawaii for 2 weeks. So check the pinned comment for how long is this open, is there any specific rules, but mainly it's just leave a comment and be subscribed and fill out the Google form. I will only contact you through the email address that you leave in the Google form. So some scammers sometimes will try and leave a comment or answer your comment down below and pretend to be me. That is not me. Always double check and make sure that the person that is answering you is actually the person you think it is, because there are definitely are some really unserious people out there, and I would hate to see anything bad happen to any of you. And all the information that you are leaving in the form, I will delete it after the giveaway. We will not use that information to anything else, just for the giveaway, so that we can avoid scammers in the comments. So check that out if you're interested in winning a surprise box with stuff from me. Like I said, it's going to be open during the time that I am off. We're going to have a mini break in new makeup releases while I'm on vacation, and I'll be back in, I think, 2 weeks, and we'll have another new makeup releases with all the new fun stuff that is happening. So don't forget to let me know on social media what you would like me to include. But like I said, I will still have videos while I'm gone. If you want to join in on my membership again, that information is in the description box. Thank you again so much, Factor, for sponsoring this video. It has been so helpful for me during this season when I have been so stressed. Such a big fan of Factor. So also don't forget to check them out at the top of the description box. I hope you're having an amazing weekend, and if you were celebrating 4th of July, I hope you had an amazing 4th of July, and I will see you real soon in a new video.